Nakedness. Once we understand what uncovering nakedness means, we can understand verses where it occurs. To begin, it is defined here. Leviticus 20:10, and the man that committeth adultery with another man's wife, even he that committeth adultery with his neighbor's wife, the adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be put to death. 11, and the man that lieth with his father's wife hath uncovered his father's nakedness. Both of them shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them. The verses above are Moses' laws regarding sexual immorality. We see that having intercourse with a mother or stepmother is uncovering the father's nakedness. This has an important ramification in one instance, but in general, uncovering nakedness means sleeping with a woman that is someone else's wife or belongs to them, as in a partner. Leviticus 18:16, thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy brother's wife. It is thy brother's nakedness. Leviticus 18 gives many of the situations where uncovering nakedness is forbidden. There is no doubt what the phrase means, so let's investigate where it occurs. Genesis 9:22, and Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father, and told his two brethren without. 23, and Shem and Japheth took a garment, and laid it upon both their shoulders, and went backward, and covered the nakedness of their father. And their faces were backward, and they saw not their father's nakedness. 24, and Noah awoke from his wine, and knew what his younger son had done unto him. 25, and he said, Cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants shall he be unto his brethren. The above verses are telling us that Ham slept with his father's wife. Just observing his father when he was naked would not have the consequences described, cursing Ham's son. The fact that Ham's brothers covered their father's nakedness means it was uncovered. Furthermore, Genesis 49:3, Reuben, thou art my firstborn, my might, and the beginning of my strength, the excellency of dignity, and the excellency of power. For unstable as water, thou shalt not excel, because thou wentest up to thy father's bed, then defiledst thou it. He went up to my couch. Here is the Hebrew for bed and couch.
Mishkob. From H7901, a bed, figuratively a bier, abstractly, sleep, by euphemism, carnal intercourse, bed, chamber, couch, lieth, or lying with, and Yosuah, passive participle of H3331, spread, that is, a bed, architecturally, an extension, that is, wing or lean-to, bed, chamber, couch.
The first word has a connotation of intercourse, and the second would be bedchamber. There is no apparent reason to use two different words if they both meant bed. The meaning is clear. Reuben uncovered his father's nakedness. Genesis 35:22, and it came to pass, when Israel dwelt in that land, that Reuben went and lay with Bilhah, his father's concubine, and Israel heard it. Now the sons of Jacob were 12. Jacob's new name is Israel, so the use of both in the above verse possibly suggests that the people of Israel knew it, in addition to Jacob. Now, there is another very important place where nakedness needs to be deciphered from the Scriptures. Genesis 3:3, but of the fruit of the tree, which is in the midst of the garden, God hath said, Ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. 4, and the serpent said unto the woman, Ye shall not surely die. 5, for God doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. 6, and when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired, to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof, and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. 7. And the eyes of them both were opened, and they knew that they were naked. And they sewed fig leaves together, and made themselves aprons. 8. And they heard the voice of the Lord God, walking in the garden in the cool of the day, and Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Lord God amongst the trees of the garden. 9. And the Lord God called unto Adam, and said unto him, Where art thou? 10. And he said, I heard thy voice in the garden, and I was afraid, because I was naked, and I hid myself. 11. And he said, Who told thee that thou wast naked? Hast thou eaten of the tree, whereof I commanded thee, that thou shouldest not eat? Here we have the account of the fall of Adam and Eve. However, we should look at these verses armed with our knowledge. We have a tree, a serpent, nakedness, and fruit. We know that the serpent and trees are beings, and Adam and Eve covered their nakedness. Is it reasonable to believe they had no idea they were naked? As for the fruit, Matthew 7:15, Beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. 16, Ye shall know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes of thorns, or figs of thistles? 17, Even so, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit. 18, A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. 19, Every tree that bringeth not forth good fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire. 20, Wherefore by their fruits ye shall know them. Here, Joshua teaches us what we could have surmised if we had the knowledge of the symbology of trees. The fruit is symbolic of what the people, trees, produce, such as doctrine, deception, even seduction. The birth of Eve's sons in Genesis mirrors the account we studied prior. Eve's firstborn, Cain, was the progeny of the serpent, and she thought he was from God, but he was from a god, with a lowercase g. The serpent deceived Eve into believing he was some kind of god, and impregnated her to sow tares in the field, hoping to choke out the wheat and prevent the tree of life from accomplishing his plan to save as many of his children from the fiery furnace as possible. Here we see the fact that at the culmination of the events from Genesis above, the serpent's seed from Eve will be cursed. Genesis 3:14, And the Lord God said unto the serpent, Because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. 15, And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. The serpent's seed are the Kenite, the tares, the descendants of Cain/Cain.
Kine, patronymic from H7014, a Kenite, or member of the tribe of Cain, Kenite, and the root, H7014, Cain, the same as H7013, Cain, the name of the first child, also of an oriental tribe, Cain. Kenite, Kenite.
They are found here. 1 Chronicles 2:55, And the families of the scribes which dwelt at Jabez, the Tirathites, the Shemathites, and Sukkothites. These are the Kenite that came of Hemeth, the father of the house of Rechab. This is the tribe of Cain, the firstborn of Eve, who, like Canaan, was the firstborn of Ham, and Reuben, the firstborn of Jacob, all uncovered their father's nakedness, or were the result of that act. It was, and is, the duty of the scribes to copy the scriptures from generation to generation. And it's no surprise that the serpent's seed would infiltrate that function to attempt to corrupt it. Lamentations 1:8. Jerusalem hath grievously sinned. Therefore she is removed. All that honored her despise her, because they have seen her nakedness. Yea, she sigheth, and turneth backward. 9. Her filthiness is in her skirts. She remembereth not her last end. Therefore she came down wonderfully. She had no comforter. O Lord, behold my affliction, for the enemy hath magnified himself. 10. The adversary hath spread out his hand upon all her pleasant things, for she hath seen that the heathen entered into her sanctuary, whom thou didst command that they should not enter into thy congregation.